Welcome to The Explainer. You know, in the chaotic world of crypto, there's one thing everyone is desperately searching for: stability. Today, we're diving into the battle for that stability on the Cardano blockchain. It's a story packed with competing ideas, huge ambitions, and a real quest to build the future of finance. So why is everyone so obsessed with stablecoins? Well, this quote really nails it. You just can't build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand, right? And you definitely can't build a new financial system on assets that swing 20% in a single day. Stablecoins are the concrete, the steel, they're the essential building blocks for everything else. And Cardano isn't just using one blueprint, it's trying out a bunch of them. Okay, so let's make sure we're on the same page. What is a stablecoin? At its heart, it's really simple. It's a crypto token that's designed to always be worth $1. Think of it as the calm in the middle of the crypto storm. It's that stable bridge you can use to walk between the old financial world and the new world of DeFi without getting swept away by all the volatility. And this is where the story on Cardano gets really interesting. Instead of just betting on one single solution, the ecosystem has become a kind of battleground for ideas. We're not just looking at one stablecoin here. We're looking at 4 major projects, and each one has a completely different philosophy on the best way to create that digital stability. So here they are, the main contenders. You've got the fiat-backed coins like USDM and USDA. They're all about trust and playing it safe by holding real dollars. Then you have the more crypto-native approach with DJed, which is algorithmic and focused on efficiency. And then you have synthetics like IUSD, which lets users create stability for themselves. The key thing to get is that each path has its own trade-offs between security, decentralization, and who's ultimately in control. So first up, let's talk about the traditionalists, USDM and USDA. Their whole philosophy is built on trust and being totally transparent. For every single digital coin out there, there's a real US dollar sitting safely in a bank. And that bankruptcy remote part, that's absolutely key. It means even if the company behind the coin goes bust, your money is legally separate and protected. This is the model that's built to make regulators and big institutions feel safe and comfortable. Then you have DJed. And DJed basically takes that traditional playbook and just tosses it right out the window. It's not backed by cash in a bank. Instead, it's backed by a huge reserve of Cardano's own token, ADA. So for every $1 of DJed, there's actually $4 to $8 of ADA locked away in a smart contract as a buffer. An algorithm manages all of this to keep the price stable. The big goal here is what they call capital efficiency. It's about keeping all that value locked inside the crypto world instead of sending it off to a traditional bank. And finally, there's IUSD. You could call this one the purist's choice. This is as decentralized as you can possibly get. There's no company, no bank account. Anyone, and I mean anyone, with some Cardano assets can lock them up and create IUSD themselves. It's totally permissionless, which means nobody can stop you. This is the model that's built for that die-hard DeFi user who really believes in one thing above all else: being your own bank. So we've got these brilliant competing designs, right? But what good is amazing technology if nobody's actually using it? And that brings us to the single biggest challenge, one that's facing not just one of these projects, but the entire Cardano ecosystem. You share this term low liquidity thrown around all the time in crypto, but it can feel a little abstract. What does it actually mean for you, the person trying to use the network? How does it really affect you? Here's what it means in plain English. It means pain. In a market with low liquidity, if you try to make a big trade, you could lose a huge chunk of your money. We're talking up to 20% before the transaction even finishes. That's called slippage. It's kind of like trying to run through deep mud. It creates so much drag that any kind of serious financial activity becomes slow, super expensive, and practically impossible.
But this quote from the Indigo team really gets to the heart of it. The problem isn't just a lack of money, it's a lack of people. You see, you can't just magically create liquidity from nothing. You need a thriving ecosystem with tons of users who are all buying, selling, and building things. The ultimate challenge isn't technical, it's social. The real question is, how do you get more people to show up to the party? And bringing in all those new users means you have to solve problems that exist outside of the crypto bubble, outside of just trading and yield farming. The real goal for these stablecoins is to break out into the real world and provide actual, tangible value.
I mean, take international payments, for example. The system we have right now is just incredibly inefficient. A company might have to park millions of dollars in overseas accounts for days, just waiting for transactions to clear. It's like leaving a giant pile of cash just sitting on a table doing nothing. Stablecoins completely fix this. They allow for instant settlement anytime, anywhere. And that simple change could unlock billions of dollars in capital that's currently just stuck in financial limbo.
And another massive barrier is privacy. As one of the project leads asked, why aren't we eating our own dog food and paying employees in crypto? The answer is simple. Nobody wants their salary and every single thing they buy recorded on a public, unchangeable ledger for the entire world to see. That's why privacy-focused solutions aren't just a nice-to-have feature. They are absolutely essential for any kind of mass adoption.
All right, so the technology is in place, and we've got clear, real-world problems to solve. So what are the final hurdles? What's standing between these projects and widespread mainstream adoption? Well, the road ahead is really blocked by four big things. First, regulation. Big money from institutions just won't enter the game until the rules are clear. Second is education. You have to convince a world that's built on traditional finance that there's actually a better way to do things. Third, distribution. Your amazing stablecoin is completely useless if it's not on the exchanges and in the wallets people are already using. And finally, fragmentation. You're not just building something new, you're trying to steal market share from absolute giants like Tether and Circle who have a massive head start. So the path forward from here is actually pretty fascinating. These projects are direct competitors, right? Each one is trying to build the best stablecoin. But at the same time, they also have to collaborate. You know the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats? They all succeed only if the entire Cardano ecosystem grows. So it's this really delicate dance between competition and cooperation.
And this leads us with the million-dollar question for the whole industry. Is this explosion of creativity going to lead to a diverse ecosystem where lots of different stablecoins can all thrive together? Or are we just watching the early stages of a brutal war where only one or two winners are left standing? Like with so many new technologies, the future could be collaboration, competition, or eventually consolidation. We'll definitely be watching to see which path Cardano takes. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.